Check. Check one. There we go. The old. Now, welcome to the show. How are you? Good to see you. Hi. I worked it out. It was apparently the old unplug it and plug it back in issue that you run into with a microphone. It's Hal Sparks, Megaworldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Hi, Facebook. What's going on? I posted 2 clips on Facebook in an attempt to throw some nuggets that way, and I'm going to try, a rising tide lifts all the boats it doesn't swamp. And so I'm going to be trying to do that on more of a regular thing. I always say that. And then, of course, life sweeps the leg, but I'm going to do my best. Now, right out of the gate, I would like to start with a moment of what I would call existential dread. A moment, gather in, if I may. Let me suggest right off the bat things not to do. 1, don't rewatch the first season of True Detective to the point where you look up the book that the Yellow King mythology in it is based on, from, I believe, 1880, 1890, something like that, which is a series of short stories all tied together by a haunted play. It's a good time. I recommend it by not recommending it. And at the same time, recognize through the intellectual prognostication that you do by putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with a number that looks wonderfully like an A missing a leg. Because those things will collide into what will effectively, when you hear AI news that's breaking over the last week, fill you with a curious sense of, this is going to be a bumpy ride. So for those of you who don't know, I do a show on Friday AI. Please check it out with me and Rob Glenn. And I try not to jump into that stuff too early, chat room. I bless your hearts. So I'm not going to get down that rabbit hole too much. But quickly, I would like to point out the fact that there were 3 things that occurred to me and were part of the news that kind of jammed together at an inopportune time when you're deep in, trapped inside the circle of thought. And the first one and the primary one that really sunk this in, besides the fact that we have about 1,000 days until the major AI disruption is in full force. During that time, it's going to be very bumpy. It's going to be very much a roller coaster. We're fine. No, it's terrible. Back at whatever. But within 1,000 days, it's going to be an extraordinary change, like the launch of the Industrial Revolution, the invention of the printing press, and fire, all jammed into one. And so I'm going to do my best with my buddy Rob Glenn on the Friday show to help you guys prepare for it and be aware of it and not be afraid of it and all that kind of stuff. But for a lot of people, it's going to be a drastic life change. It will be like, I've always joked about how there's no such thing as method acting, and my proof is that Daniel Day-Lewis played Abraham Lincoln and apparently stayed in character the whole time, which I call BS on, because at no point was he sitting on set going, what are all these lights? How is this magic being done? Who are these people? What's this giant beaver on a stick near my face? Who are, because if he was really Abraham Lincoln, the cameras would freak him out, and not to mention the people sitting in their chairs on their phone. Is that the writer? What's going on? So, the shock of playing a historical character in a modern setting eliminates the possibility of method acting, period. And there's a similar shock that I see coming when it comes to AI and the like. And I would like to ease you into that, toe in the cold water first. Go in the shallow end and, before we get swamped in the deep end and realize you're in a wave pool with no floaties. I'm going to bury every analogy I know to talk about this. But one of the things that was kind of like a lightning bolt thought that I had is that the danger of unintended consequences, the road to hell being paved with good intentions, as it were, and the fact that Jerome Powell, who has been bucking Trump's ridiculous desire to control the Fed, Yet again, is not going to lower the interest rates because this is a manufactured crisis. This has nothing to do with the standard of monetary policy. This is another thing entirely. And until the war goes on for a couple of years, it won't justify lowering the interest rate based on that. It's far more complicated, and Trump wants to walk over and flick it on and off like a switch, which is what the Chinese do, which is why their currency sucks. So better to not do that. And he's been great because of that, I think. Powell has been pretty good, and that's why Trump is saying, calling him too late. Here's the issue that I see at hand. One of the things that businesses do with borrowed money is they hire more people. Sometimes they buy equipment. Sometimes it's equipment they can write off, right? This has been the big push on Trump's that you can depreciate anything. You can you buy an F-150, call it a farm truck, and it's yours to drive back and forth to the mall like a tough guy who got separated from his monster truck convoy. The issue here is that by not lowering the interest rate, and based on the information he has at hand and based on past being prologue, his decision is being made on very normal standards, and AI is not a normal standard. And so when companies can't borrow money, when they couldn't borrow money in the past, they just couldn't expand. They just kind of froze in place, and everybody froze in place at the same time. And so it was a shock that hit everybody, and and some people got creative, found their way around it, went to a loan shark, whittled something by hand, made, I don't know, a puppet that would one day be a boy. I don't know. They would solve the employee issue through other ways, and a lot of it was machinery. They would get they would invest in a tractor instead of 5 new farm workers. And I have talked to you guys many times about how the plan during Eisenhower, where 1 million Mexican immigrants were broomed from the country, almost 100% male, had more to do with the implementation of tractors and their availability to the sort of prosumer level of farmer out there, not the big ag businesses. They might have had access to them a few years before, but they became ubiquitous and everybody could get one. And then you didn't need a team of horses or 5 guys physically plowing a field. You got to eliminate them with one piece of machinery. And there was the Operation Wetback thing was reactive. We've got all these guys sitting around because men sitting around doing nothing cause trouble, and so let's get them out of here because they've got nothing to do because tractors are taking their jobs. There is a very similar issue with AI, and the proactive aspect of this is that they are looking to replace every possible worker they can. Not just in the American populace, but certainly all immigrants. And we've heard, I think it was Peter Thiel or one of these self-involved idiots talking about how you could basically get to, I think it might have been even the guy from Palantir, you can get to zero immigration. You will not need to immigrate any workers, not H-1B visa workers, highly intelligent, technological workers, or physical labor either. At a certain point, that becomes unnecessary entirely. So there has been a push by the people who want to actually make a living off that or build that kind of a business or who want to get ahead of the competition because they know the president personally to start that process early. Part of the immigration broom is, while it's fed by maggots' xenophobia, it is driven by and large by this idea that we're going to replace these workers and they're going to be sitting around idle and we've got to put them all on the tit or they'll be as bad off as any of the homeless in America, and that can get really dark really fast. So that's part of it. But there has always been a thing about the AI implementation of jobs, especially, where they're taking white-collar jobs or moving things out, where the implementation process worked like this. You've got a worker or you hire one. And then over time, if you want to start replacing them with AI, or even if you don't, you start training them to work with an AI, almost like those old stories about where they would train somebody to, force somebody to train their replacement in the factory that they were moving overseas. We heard those stories many times. And there's kind of a digital version of that happening with AI right now. You start working with AI until the point where you can it's a self-driving wagon. At that point, you can take your hands off the reins and it's doing your job for you, right? And that's the concern with a lot of workers, and I understand that. And that's why wisdom and judgment will be more valuable than just skill. However, there is a point where a company goes, is it cheaper to hire a worker and build a company worth of people? And if that's what people want to interact with or what they trust, or is it just cheaper to replace them with a machine or an AI in this case? And most of the time, they're going to default towards a person right now because the machine is untested. But in a situation where the cost of borrowing the money to hire that person is so high, it knocks their bias towards that solution off kilter, and they default to, well, it might be riskier and whatever, but it's possible. We can't even afford to hire the 5 or 10 people, so maybe we get the 5 or 10 people we already have working to use AI and double their output, and then we won't have to hire anybody. That's the thinking that's happening right now, this year already. And there is a term that came. Whoops, sorry, beg your pardon. There's a term that has been bouncing around for a little bit. That everybody's heard AGI, Advanced General Intelligence, and ASI, Advanced Super Intelligence. There is a new kid on the block called ACI, which is artificial competent intelligence, or artificially competent, or actually competent intelligence. Everybody plays around with what the ACI means. But the idea is it follows what we call the Rob Glenn rule on Friday Eye, that it's good enough already. It is competent at this work. It doesn't. You do not need it to be a genius. Most people do not need a supercomputer. They need a laptop. That laptop is already competent functionally for the job that they are doing. The AIs that exist right now, that's true of nearly every kind of perfunctory mid-level job. If you whittle furniture with your hands, you're safe. If you own and run the company because it was your idea, you're safe. Anybody in the middle will be the first to go. And the outsourced parts of that will start, but it'll eventually narrow in. And Powell, by slowing his easing on interest rates, is accelerating that process. I don't even think it's part of the thinking. I don't even think they're factoring this in. But if you're a company and you're like, we need 10 more people to get this job done, to fill these orders, to get, food, widgets, or, cans of soup, whatever, big bags of soup. Where are we? The kind of...
Big bags of soup.
Yeah, if you want big bags of soup and you're trying to get your bags of soup out to market and you need 10 more people for that business, you can't take on debt at this level and have it work out. So more than likely, you are going to choose, even if it seems like a iffy expense, to pay for one of the big models like Claude Cowork Max and Open AI's ChatGPT Max, or whatever the Max policy is, Perplexity Max. That's $200 a month or whatever. You're gonna do that because it will replace 3 of the employees. So you get 6 of those, and you hand out those accounts to everybody to work on. They've got enough tokens to do their job, and then you just bang on that stuff. And it might, in a shorter time than it would take to train new employees, make you realize you didn't need those employees in the first place. Okay. You might have hired a bunch of people and gotten to this decision later. It's a decision I think is to some degree inevitable on a bunch of these fronts, but it won't be easing into this where there's this transition. It's just going to be a switch. And a lot of it has to do with Jerome Powell and the interest rate. All the things that people are doing to try and normalize the economy or slow down the transition are actually speeding it up. Now, I think it's going to work out in the end. I think after a relatively bumpy transition, where people who used to run horse and buggies in New York City now have found other jobs to do that don't involve manure and getting kicked in the head by an antsy mayor. So there is safety at the end of this, but the transition itself is going to be rough, and they have tightened it. By trying to pretend this is all normal, they are creating the opportunity for more of a shock to the system. And so this morning, chat room, I genuinely had a moment where I was like, oh shit. About a few of these things, because there were a couple of benchmarks, a couple of things where people were like, oh, that's about a year away, that, I'm catching up on stuff, and it happened a month ago. Yeah, mayor, not mayor. Right, exactly. Horse. Or an antsy, who knows? Giuliani could go around kicking people or having fun in the park. He's that kind of a dude. So here in Canada, we're on the fast track. Yeah, absolutely, Stargal. Yeah, you are. Most of Northern Europe is too. And there is going to be a dig in on the American side that almost splits the economy in half. And it will largely be people who are Luddites about this because of religious reasons or artistic reasons or what have you. But it's not going to affect anything because it's more portable than anything we've ever seen. It's not, I saw what tipped me off and made me mad was this dude making a comparison between this and the nuclear bomb. That it's going to be a nuclear bomb on things. It's going to drastically change the world order because everybody's running to, get ahead of everyone else and create their AI. And it's a race between China and America and blah, blah, blah. The problem is nukes just destroy. Sure, you can make energy out of them, but you never needed them in the first place to figure that part of it out. And AI in this particular case, is not going to be something that only the big industries, only the big governments, only the richest people have. It doesn't work that way. The better it gets, the smaller, cheaper, and less energy it uses. And so everybody who's making themselves rich on this is really just doing it so they have a bunker fund in case everything shits the bed. Because for it to work, for it to achieve what they are seeking, out of it, it's going to have to be sort of a new abundance after the shake up, after the reset of how things are. So, hi, people in Greece. By the way, hit the like, share the show. I don't normally have existential crises in the beginning of the show, but I think it's crucial to, and I want to remind everybody to check out the Friday show. I'm not just doing this to sell the Friday show. This is literally something that I was in a mental grind about all morning. Because my kid's 14. My son's going to graduate high school in 4 years. At about that edge of 1,000 days, that's when he's going to be looking for what his life means, what his career might be. And I've got to, because I'm his father and I love him, I got to plan for this. Will AI be free? I doubt it. Yeah, it will be. It already is within certain limitations. I mean, the AIs you can download locally right now are as good as any AI last fall. And the ones that are available for free by the end of the year are going to be as good as Claude Code. We are moving, in, especially when it comes to tech work and code, we are moving towards a zero cost labor situation. And I don't think people are ready for it. And there will be this sort of shock, and people are going to have to adapt to this, because it ultimately, if we do, will be incredible for humanity. It simply will. Useful AIs won't be free. Yes, they will, because you'll also be able to train on top of the really good models and have them. They're already useful. The free ones are already useful. They already are. That's what I'm saying. That artificial competent intelligence, the ACI, which is good enough for you to run almost any business, That's already here. That's already here. And the changes over there, the race between the big AIs right now are happening at such a pace that what's left, the scraps that are falling off their tables, are incredibly useful tools for the average person to just scoop up and do with what they will. This is not something I'm saying flippantly. I am not saying this, in this kind of utopian, like, I don't think billionaires want to make, the last dollar off of this. I'm just saying we might be looking at the last dollar in our lifetime. I'm convinced we will be. That, and the goal has to be, do we go Star Trek or Star Wars? And there are clearly groups, the Elon Musks of the world would rather it be Star Wars. And I think the average citizen would rather it be Star Trek. And that's part of who needs to be in the leadership going forward. We currently have the dumbest batch of, I'm trying not to swear, excrement bags running things right at the time of this transition. And we desperately need people who are aware of this to step forward and when they're in office, or to at least, like, every Democrat should hire as part of their staff an AI expert, or take every goddamn class they can get access to on Coursera immediately. Yeah, Hugging Face has 2.7 million free LLM downloads. Yeah, most of these models can run on a laptop. I can't tell you how much we are so close to an AI, the quality of the best model right now, whether it's Claude or Codex or whichever one you're talking about, the very best one, being able to be run on your phone by the end of the year. The best model right now, which is incredibly capable. And it won't even be the best at the time, but it'll be way better than most people ever need it to have a good life and use it, to run a business and their books and manage their calendar and all the stuff that people think of as having a personal assistant. Those kind of things. It's already happening. And it's so important for people to recognize that, especially in who they're voting for. Republicans, I would argue, are pushing us towards that Star Wars idea, or at worst, like Elysium. They think that there's going to be haves and have-nots. And I got to tell you, there's no reason other than maybe the materials needed to build a house or physical mining facilities or whatever, that anybody would have a leg up on anybody else. And there are so many goods and so many things that are reparable and functional and useful for decades to come that already exist. I just don't see them putting that toothpaste back in the tube. So the people that are panicking about it right now and there's plenty of them, are also sort of bringing faster the version of the future that they are afraid of. And I think Powell's one of them. I think a lot of the people who, part of this also, Cynthia in there, who says tax the wealthy. Motorhead's Eat the Rich came on the radio today. Great song. And I'm like, in a maximum abundance, zero labor world, what the fuck does wealthy mean? And there might be people, the Elon Musks of the world with all their billions are going to watch the value of those billions dwindle by the day. Your name and your character and what your community thinks of you will be 100 times more valuable than what you have in your bank account. And the Elon Musks will be in, high-rise penthouses, peeing in mason jars and growing their fingernails out like Howard Hughes. Because if labor is at zero, basically, and you can anybody could start their own business and afford digital employees and then use those funds because they're giving something genuine that people actually want, can on the cheap buy robots to do any kind of manufacturing stuff. What the hell do rich people do? What is capital in that situation? They'll try to corral it. It's too late. That's what I'm saying. I know everybody goes there. Everybody goes. They're gonna hide it from. That's the medbed Elysium concept. But I got to tell you, the genesis of Friday Eye was Rob Glenn and I talking about how much I hate the movie Ex Machina. I can't tell you how aggravated that piece of crap makes me. It's beautifully shot. It's very patient, but it is absolutely ridiculous in every concept. And the worst of it is the fact that Oscar Isaacs, when he's drunk, doesn't want to talk about computer stuff and design. Let me tell you something. Anybody who's capable of making a super AI bio brain in a glowing blue gel, if he gets drunk, that's all he's going to talk about. I just think they took it. I honestly think they took all the tech speak out of the movie because he couldn't do it. It annoys the hell out. Anyways, point being that we get all these, kind of, I would go like fear propaganda out of almost all science movies. Almost all science movies, with the exception of things like The Martian, are anti-science at their root. It's no surprise that we have grown amongst us a bunch of people who don't trust science. And it isn't because of what science has done by and large. It's because think of all the movies you've ever seen about space exploration or, from, even Alien. And by the way, to all the feminists out there, if you haven't seen the Alien series, do you even feminine cis? I was about to say bruh, but that it's a terrible mining company and they want union rights and a piece of their steak and all that kind of stuff. None of that. If you have ships like that, none of it matters. It's so stupid. You guys know I call it the hoverboard fallacy. That if you have in Back to the Future 2, if you have a hoverboard, an anti-gravity toy with enough battery that you could roll around with it, and it actually pushes back against the gravitational field or puts some field out that won't burn your skin right off if it runs over your foot. If you have that technology, there's a cascade of other technology that you have that has to exist before that. And the world doesn't look anything like normal if you have a hoverboard. Outland's another one. Another one that's just overlaying modern gripes on the future in a way that just don't fit. That's why I love Blade Runner. It's why I love Ghost in the Shell, because the existential questions that they ask in those movies are new to that circumstance and something that we're heading towards, something where they're trying to work it out before we get there. And instead of just rehashing old grievances from the Luddites and the 30s and stuff, just like that's how it's gonna be. It's just dumb. It's as stupid as the maggots insisting there's going to be a civil war in America, and there is, but only between them. Yeah, Spaceballs is basically, that's futurism. That's just how it's going to be. I agree. Runaway, believe me, I want to turn that into a series. Don't get me started. If I could grow a good enough mustache. We'll cover Markwayne Mullin. Don't worry. I'm going to get to clips eventually, but you got to, I genuinely needed this moment with you guys because this is an extraordinary circumstance we find ourselves in. And all this, claptrap that we're hearing from everything that's happening at once is like idiots trying to drag the world backwards. The irony that the Iran war is going to bring back the resurgence of electric cars that Donald Trump tried to kill. The irony. All right, so we got it because of Kentucky. We gotta go straight home. Hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks, Megaworldwide. Now, you asked for it, you got it, ladies and gentlemen. Markwayne Mullin, who and Rand Paul. You hate it when two awfuls smack together. It's like a Reese's cup that's all excrement, just varying degrees of digested. Rand's got a chip on his shoulder from the beginning.
Practice of this committee to swear in witnesses
that you will see.
Will the nominee please stand and raise your right hand?
He doesn't even want to look at him, too. Like, you could tell he hates this guy is there.
Do you swear that the testimony you will give before this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
What the fuck was that? Did you belch? Yeah. I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Senator Mullin, you are recognized for your opening statement.
I think before I can start my opening statement, I have to address the remarks the chairman made, calling me a liar.
This is going well. By the way, these two guys are in the same party. I know. I'm supposed to be heartbroken that a committee like this, with as much prestige and importance as it has, becomes such a shit show so fast. But no, sorry.
I think everybody in this room knows that I'm very blunt and direct to the point, and if I have something to say, I'll say it directly to your face. If you recall, back in my House days, we actually did have this conversation because of the remarks that I made. You were in a room. I simply addressed that I said I could understand because of the behavior you were having, that I could understand why the neighbor did what he did.
Physically attacked him. In case you don't know, Rand Paul's neighbor beat the snot out of him, and I think cracked like 6 of his ribs.
As far as my terms,
and he was like, "I can understand why your neighbor kicked your ass," like, which is, I think something a normal citizen, it's fine. But if you're actually in the same chamber and you're actually a representative of your government, I understand, piggish dullard, but you are there to do a job.
The snake in the grass, sir. I work around this room to try to fix problems. I've worked with many people in this room.
I work around this room to try.
Seems like you fight Republicans more than you work with us. I did address those remarks. I did explain your gimmicks by the amendment you put forth. And as far as me saying that I invoke violence, I don't. I don't think anybody should be hit by surprise. I don't like.
You just. I'm not saying you should do it, but I understand
that. But if I do have.
He's quoting Chris Rock.
Something to say, everybody in this room knows I'll come straight to you. I'll say it publicly and I'll say it privately, but I'll never say it behind your back. So for you to say, I'm a liar, sir, that's not accurate. And I got proof to say that because you have spent millions of dollars in my campaigns against me because we just don't get along. However, sir, that doesn't keep me at all from doing my job.
Okay. I didn't know he was a kept man.
I can have different opinions with everybody in this room, but as Secretary of Homeland, I'll be protecting everybody, including Kentucky, as much as I will my own backyard in Oklahoma. It's bigger than the partisan bickering that we have. It's bigger than the political differences we have. The truth is...
Yeah, but this is this is a trust job, right? Of course you're going to say that. We can only go on your character beforehand.
I have a job to do.
No, you don't. Not yet.
And I don't like to fail at anything.
Too late.
At all. So I can set it.
By the way, he got into a almost fist fight. Remember, when he stood up and challenged a witness to fight. That's the guy right behind him. They made up afterwards. I think he wants credit for the guy being there to have his back, and that they got, they're now friends or whatever. The only reason they're friends now and they got over it was because the Senate rules and Bernie Sanders stopped him from attacking this man and having a fist fight, right, in the middle of the committee hearing.
Side.
So it was the adults in the room that kept him from being a toddler, and now he wants credit for not doing something that would have had him thrown out of the Senate and thrown in jail.
If you're willing to set it aside, let me earn your respect. Let me earn the job. I won't fail you. I won't back down from a challenge. And I'll also admit when I'm wrong. I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect.
Oh, the default to perfection. This in arguments, this is one of the most like childish throwdowns ever. Which that's why it's in the movie Dumb and Dumber. I'm sorry, Mr. Perfect. I guess you never make a mistake, right? Because people, when they know they've been shitty, and they probably intend to be shitty in the future on purpose, they will often go, look, nobody's perfect. Like, we're not arguing for perfection here. We're arguing about your very distinct, specific flaws here, okay?
I make mistakes just like anybody else.
Wow. It's just, how bold. What a strong and like endearing statement. I feel so much closer to him as a person. Man, he's just like us, that old Markwayne.
But mistakes, if you own them, you can learn from them.
Not necessarily.
You can move ahead.
If you own them because you don't think they were a mistake and you do a perfunctory apology, which is what this sounds like without actually apologizing, you probably don't really think it was a mistake.
And I'll make that commitment to you. Ranking Member Peters, Chairman Paul, I do thank you for this opportunity. It is a humbling experience. A kid from Westville, Oklahoma, that grew up
You are a grown man with a beard.
with a dad that worked hard.
Is it? You have some scars around that? Would you like to lay down while we discuss this? Wait, did he? Did he work? He worked hard. What did he do?
He set the work example for all of us.
Hard? Not smart? Okay.
And all my families, and my siblings,
All your families? You have several families?
we all work hard. And I'm proud of the family we have.
Well, if you have multiple families, that's hard work. I don't know how those guys, the old traveling salesmen who have a different family in 2 cities, I don't know how they pull that off. That's too much work.
But to say that a kid with a bad speech impediment would one day sit up here in front of you,
Uh-oh, Trump's going to say that he has a learning disability and he can't do it, right?
and be nominated to be the Secretary of Homeland, it was humbling enough to be selected by Oklahoma to be their U.S. representative when I didn't even know how to tie a tie.
Yeah, that's not the prerequisite. Also, how many people are in Oklahoma? Like 1/15 the population of California?
And 10 years later, to be able to be called a United States Senator and serve with all you guys. And I respect every one of you guys. I do.
Yeah.
Regardless if I have an opinion about you or not, you were elected by your state, and I respect that. I may disagree with you, but I respect it because we all make decisions based on 2 things: the way you're raised, which never changes.
The were raised. It's like a werewolf, but higher, taller.
And our life experiences with constantly change. For me, to be able to have the love of my life behind me,
I'm glad you were happy that he shaved his head.
somebody I literally fell in love with.
Is it just, are you in love with that whole crowd? Is this our first polyamorous DHS secretary?
In 3rd grade.
I'm gonna have a moment.
I knew I was going to marry her in 8th grade. She didn't know that yet. We had to work
She was 25.
through that process. But at 18 years old, and I was 19, she agreed to marry me. I didn't have anything. I was on a wrestling scholarship, living in a dorm. She was cheering at Northeastern State University.
We were just a couple of kids with a dream and a mild trust fund.
I think she fell in love with my truck, 'cause my truck was pretty cool.
What the hell?
But the truth is, we didn't know.
I didn't realize this that Chris Penn's character in Footloose was based on him.
What we didn't know, but we did know we loved each other. And I haven't been perfect. I apologize to her quite often and send her flowers all the time. But I still am humbled by the fact that we've got to enjoy this walk together. We've had God on our side and her right beside me.
So she's on the other side. So you're between her and God. How dare you? Wait, I take it back. You didn't say which side. It could be front, back, who knows?
And to our 6 children who's been on this adventure with me, what an adventure it's been.
Imagine what the adventure's been for her. 6 kids.
We have a saying in our family, you're never going to change anything you're willing to tolerate. That's how we live our life, and that's how we move forward.
That's also why a couple of the kids live in the barn.
And regardless of what's in front of us, we always take it on as a family.
We're not hiring your whole family, sir. There's only one job position. We're not hiring the Partridge family to be our DHS secretary. We don't want Homeland Security decisions to have to be passed around the dinner table like you're moving into a new apartment.
And I'm not scared of a challenge. I am scared of failure.
Well, then I guess you live in terror every day of your life.
And so I will work hard each
Again, not smart.
day. I'll work hard to make the 280,000 employees at DHS with the 22 agencies that's underneath me proud. I'll show them somebody that no one will outwork. I'll work beside them every single day to not just secure a homeland, to bring peace of mind and confidence to the agency.
To the agency, okay, not to the American people, okay.
My goal, and
We want the American people scared shitless of threats so that we can, obviously justify wars overseas. So you don't really want everybody at home to feel good, but as long as your employees and your family feel safe, like, it's fine. We just tell those assholes something else.
6 months is that we're not in the lead story every single day. My goal is for people to understand we're out there, we're protecting them, and we're working with them. My goal is to make every one of you guys proud. My goal for those that don't support me, regret not supporting me. But we have to get DHS funded.
Right, yeah, you won't actually play a part in that at all.
We have to.
Right, eventually, agreed. So you would agree that it's probably best to do body cams and make ICE comply with law enforcement standards throughout the entire country on the level of at least the U.S. Marshals and the FBI. I mean, that's a pretty baseline you could be okay with. Maybe not.
Friends, we have to set the partisan side down.
Aside, yeah, partisan side aside. We have to set the partisanship aside, down.
We have to realize
On the downside.
that
Maybe that's the side God is on. I hope not. He should be on the upside.
we're putting our homeland and the peace of mind at risk for the American people. Sometimes it's political theater, sometimes it's true differences.
Yeah, right now it's true differences.
But what we do know is that we're playing with fire. We have 280,000 DHS employees right now that are on day 30 without pay, and they're still showing up every single day to do their job.
Yeah, because they're going to get back pay plus interest.
That is a dedicated group of people.
Well, what are they going to do? Walk off and get... Where do they go for another job with a similar skill set? I mean, obviously, there's some of the guys you like and just go back to being Proud Boys, I guess.
And we should
This is a growth industry.
all be proud of them. We should all be working together, and we should all be trying to fund them. So I pray, seriously, I pray that we can get past this. That once this hearing is over and once we go through this process,
Which is just a joke. We don't really care. These won't be real questions.
get it. I get some of it's got to be political theater. I understand it. I've had to really pray about my attitude.
Why?
But I will say,
Sorry, your attitude is God's responsibility?
once it's over, I hope we can work together and get them funded. So when I walk in, if I'm fortunate enough to be confirmed, if I walk in as secretary, that these guys are ready to go to work day one. So God bless you. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I look forward to your questions.
Yeah, you don't really, though. Thank you, Seven Dust.
It's the standard practice of this committee for the chairman to ask nominees the following question. Do you agree without reservation to comply with any request or summons to appear or testify before any duly constituted committee of Congress if you're
Hang on. Who's the AI generated supermodel sitting in the back? What's happening? Is there a vampire queen that must be present at all these hearings? Honest, what is happening? Who?
I do.
Are they just stuffing mannequins in the back? I mean, I love the movie Mannequin, but I don't need to see the political version.
We'll now proceed to 7 minutes of questioning.
Which will be more like finger wagging.
The record should show, and I think will show, a lack of contrition, no apology, and no regrets for your support. You completely understand the violence that was perpetrated on me. You're unrepentant. The only thing you quibble about is whether I met you somehow when you were in the house. I don't think we ever met when you were in the house. And this idea that the only thing you're upset about is not that you were for violence. What you're upset about is that I called you a liar because you said it to my face. So it's really more about this machismo that you have.
Well, that obviously, is a difficult one for Rand Paul. Totally lacking in any, I guess, it's got to be rough. And imagine how the squirrel on his head feels.
When in Oklahoma, the media asked you about the refugee welfare programs, the programs you voted to continue funding, it was this whole idea that you were going to transfer it because you were uncomfortable, your anger, low impulse control, causes you to then go after and decide that you're going to go after me as well. And so you say you completely understood that I was assaulted from behind, had 6 ribs broken and part of my lung removed, and that was just fine. That's something that you, I guess, approve of as far as resolution of political problems. When I talked to you on the private...
Also, was it really a political thing between him and his neighbor, or was it just, old-fashioned Kentucky, Hatfield and McCoy, your trees are growing over my fence horse shit? It's still wrong.
Privately on the phone, there was no apology. You just said, well, we can let our political difference, go by. And you said a few minutes ago, we can just set it aside. Well, political differences we can, but when you say that you agree with a felon, a Trump-hating felon who attacked me, somehow you think I'm just going to set that aside? Oh, it's no big deal.
This is where it's getting really touchy.
I lay in pain for 2 months, had 6 ribs broken, 3 of them separated, grinding upon bone for months, had part of my lung removed, and you think that's great and to be extolled. I mean, the sheer...
the sheer normalcy of a maggot thinking about this towards anyone that they see as an opponent. You should go look at the tape of January 6th while you're at it, you fucking moron.
Lack of any kind of self-awareness that you're going to be leading thousands of men and women who will have the use of force, and there's been great questions in our country about how that will be used, and you think a violent attack is just fine. So I guess my first question is, do you think that justifying that kind of violence sets a good example for the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol?
Also, I'm not even going to look at you after I drop that egg on your desk.
Mr. Chairman, first of all, I didn't know the extent of your damage.
Maybe think about that first as a representative in the government and act like you have a real goddamn job and not you're on the wrestling team in a truck in a knockoff version of Footloose.
When the phone call was made, I made it to you and I tried to talk to you.
Because it was going to cost you an election?
You didn't engage at all. In fact, you said, get your paperwork in. It's got to be 3 days in between.
You offered no apology.
Sir?
And you offer no apology today and no regrets. Haven't heard the word apologize, haven't heard the word regret, haven't heard...
He did pray, though, and he is praying. He might be praying right now. We don't know. Is there a chance he prayed that he wouldn't apologize because it would affect his machismo ranking?
I misspoke, and it was heated, and I made a mistake. I haven't heard any of those words.
Sir, actually, it wasn't heated, and I'm not apologizing for pointing out your character.
Good. So you're jolly well fine.
Yeah, you do realize that this isn't about pointing out his character. It's about saying that his character is reason enough for the guy to be beaten. I don't like Rand Paul. I don't like defending Rand Paul. But Markwayne Mullin is a special kind of scumbag.
And you want the American public and the people up here to vote that may or may not vote for you to know that you supported the felonious, violent attack on me from behind.
I did not say I supported it. I said I understood it. There's a difference.
Oh, so
By
that-
calling you,
So that means you really didn't approve of it, just completely understand it. What do you think most people would interpret completely understand to be? Support for or
I ain't saying he should have killed her, but I understand. I guarantee that's where his brain was,
a condemnation
and might have even been a direct quote.
of the violence?
Sir, as I said, we can have our differences. It's not going to keep me from doing my job as Secretary of Homeland Security. I'm going to secure Kentucky and take care of Kentucky as much as I am Oklahoma.
If this were a one-off,
Right, but does your version of things involve telling your agents it's okay to beat people till their ribs are separated because you're fine with saying with someone? That would be the concerning point as somebody who's the secretary. You're not hiring like the Go team that has to burst into drug nests like fucking Sicario or whatever.
it would be one thing. If you just disliked me so much that you approved of violence against me, people could just write it off. Well, maybe they hate each other.
Well, I do not approve of violence, but I do think you're an asshole.
But really, there's a pattern of this. Let's go ahead and roll the tape.
Roll the tape, baby.
You know where to find me, any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your?
Yeah, I don't know what the problem is here. It seems like Oklahoma. Yeah. This is just it's how they do things, how they settle things out there. None of this weak female democracy stuff.
Hold it. No, sit down. Sit down. Look at you. You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. Look who sat him down. Bernie Sanders. You want to talk about machismo?
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond, Mr.
Hold
Chairman?
it. Hold it.
If he got up too, would you have gone at it right there in the hearing room?
I would have probably jumped over the dais at that point. You have to be called out on. If not, this guy can.
You do. You gotta like anytime somebody is a douchebag in front of you, you gotta raise it to the level of physical violence. I mean, what do you expect me to do? Use my brains? Have a witty retort? Respond with facts? Gay? That's exactly what he's thinking.
Continues to get away with this stuff, and it's just, you know, it's silly, it's stupid, but every now
But then so are you.
and then you need to get punched in the face. Well, go back to the 1800s and 1700s. They used to have canines
And duels. And they used to have
And
duels.
duels.
We also didn't have cars. You want to go back to that too? Women couldn't vote. Well, that might actually.
Yeah.
Right. And there was a way that men used to settle their differences. I ignored him 4 times.
Yes, and it resulted in the unnecessary death of thousands. Yeah. Millions over the years, I guess.
Prior to that, and people say, yes, you're supposed to ignore it. Well, you know, I'm not a very good Christian. I try to.
Right, but you're also not actually an intellectually capable man. You hit a glass ceiling on your comprehension very early, and that's why you move to violence so quickly, because you've got a toolbox with like 2 tools in it.
A good Christian, and I know people say you're supposed to turn the other cheek. I
Yeah, I know. Who was that guy who said it first? What was his name? Something. I think they got the name Christian from him. I'll look it up.
prefer the David method.
But
Yeah.
we need to move from an almost
And by the
fight.
way, I'm not afraid of biting. I will bite.
Now you're just flirting with this guy.
biting.
I'll,
Well,
I'll
I mean-
bite 100. Yeah. I mean,
Sorry, you're not. Are we still? By the way, there was an edit. So are we still talking about the fight, or is this moved on to something else?
fight, I'm going to bite. I'll do anything. I mean, I'm not above it. And I don't care where I bite, by the way.
That's a weird thing to bring up.
It's
So what? Really? You don't care? You're not picky? If I,
It just is going to be a bite.
it's just gonna be a bite, unless of course you specifically ask for no teeth. Maybe, I don't know.
Insight. Any regrets?
No, I really don't.
The lead on this, in case you missed it, he's standing on a box because he's not very tall. So he insisted.
We're a bite,
You'll
by
see
the way. It just is going to be a bite.
In high.
right there. See when he's on the debate stage against his opponent, he's standing on a soapbox. He's a half apple. They gave him a half apple,
Any regrets?
so he'd be the same size as the guy he was, which is why he's got a chip on his shoulder.
No, I really don't.
So no regrets. In fact, even after your anger had cooled, you were still bragging that if he'd only been brave enough to stand up, you'd have jumped over the dais and taught him a lesson, because that's how men should settle their differences. Do you think fighting as a resolution for political differences is a good example for the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol?
As you can notice over my shoulder here is my good friend Sean O'Brien. Both of us had had conversations.
Both of us chose a place to bite on the other man's body, and we did it. And we learned a lot about ourselves, and we explored our feelings, and it's a bond that will last forever. It's all right. It's all right. It's not like this dude is compensating for anything.
Of shaking hands, and both of us agreed we could have done things different. Sean is someone that has become a close friend. We talk all the time. I've been on his podcast. We've talked through this. That's how you handle your differences.
Right, but if Bernie Sanders hadn't stopped you, you would have handled it by chimping out.
Not like this, Chairman.
I'm glad you guys are friends now and that you've reconciled. But really, it doesn't get to the real point whether or not you think violence is the way we settle things. In the days after the fight, you said, and I quote, "Sometimes people just need to be punched in the face." Is that still your opinion, that political disputes can sometimes and often only be resolved by violence?
Why don't you just question his manhood while you're at it?
No, I don't always agree with that. I don't believe in political violence. I've made that very clear.
Well, you said it. That doesn't mean it's true.
But sometimes people do
perpetrated on me.
need, theoretically speaking, sir, I get it. It's about character assassination for you. That's the way this game is played. I understand it.
Okay, this is, by the way, they all took the same class that Pam Bondi went to in the White House. The I'm rubber ball, you're glue, childhood, like reverse bullying tactics.
And you are making this about you, which is fine, but that doesn't keep me as
It's
Secretary of Homeland
character
Security.
assassination when you were the one lauding the assault. Who do you think started that character assassination? I'm just repeating what you have done in character assassination. I'm repeating your support.
Ooh, Rand Paul's getting fiery. I'm worried he's going to tear off his jacket and trip over his own shoelace and fall into the mannequin lady.
For the assault. So that's somehow something I started?
Yeah, Biden started it. I do too. I blame Biden. Yeah.
No, sir. What I'm saying is you're adding a lot to it.
Boo-hoo. By bringing it up? Sorry, what? By criticizing you?
In the days after the fight, you did many interviews in which you justified the violence as historically justified by precedents, such as caning and dueling. Is it today your opinion that the caning of Charles Sumner was not only justified but argues still for resolving our political differences with violence?
What I was simply pointing out is some of the rules that still apply to this body. For instance, dueling with two consenting adults is still there.
No, it's not.
I was pointing out what is still
illegal
acceptable.
for
What? Well, hold on.
That's not how it works.
No, it isn't. There's nothing in the Senate rules that you can fucking duel with people as long as you're both consenting.
170 years.
Oh, sorry, wait, back up. No, it isn't. No.
I was pointing out what is
Been
still
illegal
acceptable.
for 170 years.
It's been illegal for 170 years.
There's no precedent for legal dueling. Even then, they fled the country. Do you realize that the man that beat Charles Sumner with a cane, he beat him till he was unconscious? You know why no senators intervened? Because his friend held a gun on the other senators, and he kept beating him until he crushed his skull. That's what you're insinuating as the president of the Senate.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that. Markwayne Mullin doesn't know the details of it. He just said men used to duel and it was macho and we settled it. And it was cool. That's all he knows. He doesn't know any of the actual historical details. You kidding me? He thought it happened in the 60s.
That's what you live by. That is a very, very dangerous sentiment.
I guess that's a hold until he comes to he's not going to respond?
After a half a
Nope, I guess not. Just you're not going to cut to him being stupid and not knowing that it's illegal to duel in the United States of America,
dozen victory
even for members of the Senate and I guess Senate committee witnesses.
lap interviews where you pointed out that the union guy was just lucky that fear kept him from standing up. Dana Bash asked you if you have any regrets about bringing violence to a Senate committee, and you replied that you have no regrets. Today you've said you have no regrets about being happy, being completely understanding why I was attacked from behind. You had no regrets about, instigating a brawl in a Senate committee hearing. Are those still your opinions?
Mr. Chairman, you're going to have your opinion. I'm going to have mine.
Right, yeah, that's why he asked you what your opinion was. Is that still your opinion? We're both going to have opinions. And what's yours was the question?
As Secretary of Homeland Security, I'm going to bring peace of mind and security to this country.
Not if people think you're going to snap and attack people that don't do what you want or hire people who do the exact same thing to innocent Americans. We've had two, maybe even 3 Americans killed by ICE. That's why the last lady stepped down. That and she ran out of outfits.
And I'm going to stay laser focused on that.
Senator Peters.
I'm gonna stay laser. So yeah, that's Markwayne Mullin. Good times. And by the way, there's a question about whether he'll, make it like by a hair's breadth out of the committee and then not make it in the Senate vote. So we'll see. But it won't matter. You know why it won't matter? It's too late. It doesn't matter. We are. It's the end. This is the end. I think. Well, Benny Johnson told us all. I think to where was it?
Keep an eye out for the end times.
Right. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to keep an eye out for the end times and for, of course,
Potatoes and chicken.
I'm going to keep an eye out for potatoes and chicken, and if we miss it, we'll have
Action replays in magnified fortune.
So, Tim Pool is, I guess, doing the Lonely Show again. He used to have a room full of flunkies, local flunkies, whatever. Any that gathered in his barn or wherever he did the show from. And then I guess since the drive-by that apparently Candace Owens paid for, but we'll never know, or if it even happened, but who did it or whatever. And if it could just be that he lives in that kind of area of town where shootings sometimes occur, and he just took it personally because it's all about him, main character syndrome, as it were. But it won't matter anyway. This could be it. And therefore, I guess unless we get to base before he touches us. It's going to be nuclear war, or maybe it isn't, or perhaps it is, but probably will be. But I'm not saying it is, but I'm not going to.
Ladies and gentlemen, for possibly the 800,000th time, people are screaming World War III.
No, we've already moved on to World War IV. Please try and keep up.
With the World Health Organization preparing for a nuclear scenario, including the use of nuclear weapons. Now, we've heard rumors from prominent officials,
as opposed to,
even to the Trump administration, saying that they fear this conflict in the Middle East, if not resolved soon, could actually escalate into tactical nuclear weapon usage.
Yeah, but no. The reason they're running this game is because of dirty nukes. That they are concerned that there are actually nuclear bombs that actually work inside of Iran, possibly, or at least the materials to make them, and that if they don't already, they'll slap them together quickly and take them to a city and blow it up, a giant suicide bomb, as it were.
What people don't understand is that nuclear weapons, it does not mean that we're going to get a bomber fly over a city and blow it up like we did in Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
We're not? What are we going to put them on a train?
It doesn't mean that we're going to fire a MIRV, a multiple independently targeted re-entry vehicle, into the stratosphere to drop 12 warheads all over the country of Iran.
Yeah, we might just, FedEx it, I think.
It could just be...
We just, order it off of Amazon using the Ayatollah's credit card, and then when it shows up, boy, he'll be surprised.
Nuclear warheads, low-yield nuclear artillery, things like kiloton bombs. Yes, there will be radioactive fallout, but they're fairly small.
Yeah, it won't even fall. It'll just be radioactive out.
We talked about the possibility for some time in Ukraine, but it's never really gotten to that point.
Because the Ukrainians wouldn't and couldn't, and the Russians are afraid to because they'll lose Chinese support.
Because neither side has become desperate enough. But the thing about war is that it's not a game of gentlemen with one hand behind their back, moving chess pieces across the board.
Well, chess is actually a very violent game because it's very much a zero sum, or the pawn is totally destroyed, removed from the board when it kills. And when the pawn kills the queen, she is totally removed from the board. What each piece is, to use the term of the day, is obliterated. So strategically speaking, chess is one of the most violent games there is.
War is about survival.
That's what it is. And so if you're not the best way to survive is to make sure nobody else does.
And for the most part, there is a degree of restraint from all
for the most part
sides in the war, utilizing what they can and holding back where they can until they absolutely have no choice.
Or they've run out of other stuff, I guess.
That has been one of the biggest fears we've had with the war in Ukraine, is that if Russia was backed into a corner, they could actually use low-yield tactical weapons, meaning launching nuclear bombs from artillery to try and ice out Western forces.
And anyone else who wants to live on the ground it hits for the next 10,000 years?
The World Health Organization is outright saying it. They are monitoring what's going on, and they are preparing for this scenario. Now, with all that being said, it doesn't actually mean we will get to the point where we're going to see the nuclear weapons used.
Boo! I was promised by your thumbnail and stuff that this could be it. So you're saying it's not it. It's not even close to it. It's something, but not. Maybe it's not it, but is it that? Could it be this? Is this it? This is it. And nothing? Make no mistakes where you are. You're going much further. I don't know. I was promised the end of the world. I'm very disappointed. The hell. These guys were saying, you can't get me to the edge of this thing. The world's gonna end over and over, and I get like all caught up in Rust Coal mode. And you promised me that we'll all walk together into the bright light, into the great beyond, to find out what's behind this mortal veil. And then you let me know that just this is stuff they do all the time for safety's sake. The next thing you know, you're gonna tell me that all the preparations for a pandemic are just sensible people doing their jobs and not some sort of plandemic. I was sold a plandemic. But they were meant to do this. And that's why they did it. They were making preparations because they wanted it to happen and they were going to make it happen. And then you're going to tell me that they get hired, paid to do that job. Or that you're going to tell me that the FEMA people aren't making the emergencies? Is that what... That they're just... The reason FEMA's got preparatory materials for outbreaks and hurricanes and stuff, is it because they're creating diseases and causing hurricanes using a Sharpie or something? They're just a bunch of people getting ready. I suppose next you're going to tell me that firemen don't cause the fires. What the hell? I don't even know. Sorry, this is one of my pet peeves, is that these idiots are always like, anybody who like goes, this might be a problem one day, is like, okay, all right, well, Mr. Plandemic. Oh, I suppose they've figured out a way to, like, we should probably maybe fix these houses so that if there's a flood, somebody's gonna blow up the dam. I knew it. I'm on to you, buddy. They're getting ready, so they must be planning it. Okay, let's, can we move to the Joe Kent stuff, please? And I know, normally I would want to end on the stupidest take, but I feel like I owe you the stupidest take right out of the gate. So Joe Kent, for those who don't know, is a completely unqualified dickhead who was second in command at Tulsi Gabbard. They wanted him to actually get her job, but they knew he would never pass confirmation, so they put him in, in an acting role, knowing that nobody wants him in that job. And then he walked because apparently he's against the Iran war, because he's a Fuentes maggot, right? And anyways, this is there are those who are saying he was too pure and he walked off, and now the left are celebrating him as a hero, this MAGA celeb. Now the left loves him because he turned on Trump. And the other ones are saying he was, he's bought into, he's working for Iran or whatever. Like he's against Israel and the United States, and the Ben Shapiro crowd are all saying that. And right in the middle of it, I think Greg Kelly, who does his show, I'm fairly certain out of a storage shed, is just, he can't understand why he would pass up the paycheck. Joe Kent, you walked off the job. Are you crazy? Greg Kelly. Well, first of all, yes. Secondly, what?
Take a look at this. It is set up. The director of national counterterrorism, his name is Joe Kent.
His name's still Joe Kent, but he was that was his title.
And with everything going on right now.
Right, I know, right? It's nuts.
A patriot would do everything they could to save America.
Yeah, but then he's a maggot, so he doesn't really care about that. This is all a show to blow smoke up Trump's ass and feather your nest just like he is, because you want to live a rich, arrogant piece of shit life like he has, and you figure if you hang around it, some of it will rub off, and then you end up with just like a little bit of orange drip on your shoulder, and if you're a woman, you get parts of yourself grabbed. So,
but not this guy.
Pathetic. Get him, Greg Kelly, the most miserable man on the internet.
Joe Kent, in this moment, decided to quit.
What? He quit? We made a graphic and everything.
He quit.
I know, it says quit right there on the screen. I was confused for a second as well, but then I was like, that is a funny looking word. And it's fun. Like, you wouldn't even think, you want to pronounce the Q and then go to Q it, and you're like, what does that mean? And then you put it together like, oh, I've seen that before. And then you're like, oh, that means that guy no longer does his job. It's
he walked off the job.
Yeah, that's what quitting means. I'm fairly certain. Yeah.
He quit. He walked off the job. Are you crazy?
Do you know how much money you're making? I work in a shed. They set this screen up behind me, and I'm stuck here in this parking garage in San Diego because they won't let me use the real studio anymore.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? What are you nuts? What difference does it make what your ideals are, or what you ran on, or what you want your political future to be, or whether you think this is strategically nuts, and even if you'd be for blowing up everybody in the Middle East all at once, and you just don't think we're doing it in the right order, who cares? Take the money and just sit back and put your feet up.
They're coming to get us.
They are. They're on their way. The Iranians are in rowboats right now, and Joe Kent should be out there whacking at them with a tennis racket, and he fucks off. Where is he?
This is when we need everybody.
Yeah, I know. All hands on deck, even if those hands won't do the job because they refuse to, and they'll be standing there like this, and while other people are swabbing the deck, like Greg.
All right.
All right, whatever.
Maybe he just gave a heads up. I don't know, his mom's sick. I don't.
Yeah, maybe he quit for some other reason. I don't really pay attention. I don't know why he left. I didn't read his stupid letter that basically criticizes. I don't read anything that criticizes Trump.
Something, right? No.
No. Something about ideals and people not listening to him or something. I wasn't really paying attention.
He's quitting right away. From his resignation letter, he's quitting immediately.
Oh my God. So not only is he a quitter, he already did. He quitted. And then you can't even call him a quitter anymore because it already happened. Shit.
Let's go ahead and put that up if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's yes. Effective today, yeah.
I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center, effective today.
Yeah, you couldn't finish out the day and just finish stapling the forms? There are Iranian terrorists in rowboats headed this way, and you can't at least wait till the end of the day to finish your shift?
You know, I worked at a grocery store when
No, stop it. No way. Oh shit! I needed that. What? Yes, you did. You did. You might still when you're not on the air, for all we know. What? Please tell me this is your analogy. I can't press play, but I desperately want to hear the story of how Greg Kelly quit his job working at a grocery store with dignity. Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
effective today. You know, I worked at a grocery store when I was in 9th and 10th grade.
Okay.
And I remember when I left, I gave
like it was yesterday.
2 weeks notice.
Oh, yeah, because you were in 9th and 10th grade?
You always got to give some sort of notice.
Yeah, you're not going to get your last paycheck. You won't be able to get hired in another grocery store. So what chance does he have to be the director of National Counterterrorism Center for another country anytime soon? They're going to go, you walked off the list. I don't know. Have you ever thought about working at a grocery store? No, I don't know who Greg Kelly is. No, I don't know why he hangs out at the grocery store saying he used to work there all the time, talking to 8th graders. None of us do.
Right? You don't run away.
You don't. No, you don't. Absolutely not. Well said. I agree. You treat the National Counterterrorism Center with at least as much dignity and respect as you would a Safeway. God damn it.
This guy.
This is killing me. This guy. He would never be able to work at Safeway.
Has run away. He's got beef with the war in Iran, which is only 17 days old.
Right. How can you get mad at a 17-day-old child like this? It's only the 17th day. If you think it sucks now, just wait.
And from what I'm hearing, this thing is going to be over probably before the 28th day.
Probably.
This is contained.
Is it?
This is the issue that Joe Kent,
whoever he is, this guy,
can't abide. He's quitting over the Iran war. I cannot, in good conscience, support the ongoing war in Iran. Now,
just hang out. It'll be over in like 28 days. There will be zero blowback, no mission creep. It's perfect. We'll never have to go back in. I mean, we had to go in last year, and we had to go back in this year. But we're not, if it's like every 8 months, can't you just put your conscience aside for about every 6 months for like 3 days, or 3 weeks, or 3 months, or probably 3 years?
Actually, Joe, you don't.
You asshole.
Have to.
You don't. Okay. You don't have to support it. You just gotta go stand on the docks and hit those Iranian terrorists in those rowboats with a tennis racket, and do your goddamn job.
You don't have to support it. Quite frankly, it's not your job. You're fighting terrorism in America.
Right, and he thinks maybe this will cause more of it, and also he may have gotten a better offer from Turning Points USA.
That's gone through the roof. And for policy disagreements, philosophical disagreements, you don't like the war in Iran, well, whatever, it's happening. And more terrorism is happening probably as a result, and I think we can deal with it.
Wait, sorry, so you want a quitter in office right about this time anyways? Sorry, real quick. So you want a person who can put their conscience aside and not do things, and do things that they think are bad for the country or unconstitutional or violent or whatever. You want that is also a quitter. You want that person in this job. Explain to me, Greg. Greg, buddy, why do you want somebody who would quit in a situation like this to go back to the job? Why would you? Why would you go? Why wouldn't you just go good riddance and move on to the next guy that they have? Why would you want? How come you want him to? Greg, please explain to me why? Why do you want the quitter to stay in the job when it's this dangerous? You look at all the stuff that's happening. Why are you mad? Why do you go, phew? Good thing we got rid of that guy before it really got bad. We can get somebody in there who's not a quitter.
Wouldn't you want to be involved?
No, apparently not.
You're going to leave people hanging? You're going to leave the United States of America hanging.
Oh my God. He's leaving us all hanging. Dressed left. Some of us hanging lower than you.
You're going to quit.
Oh my God. How could you? Joe Kent. We need a quitter in a job like this. Don't you understand?
Now, why did he quit?
I don't know. Read his letter.
What's really going on here?
Yeah, what is up? I mean, you kidding? I'm not going to read the letter.
I know he has all kinds of weird ideas about Israel that I do not agree with.
Okay. So why didn't you want him in the job if that's the case?
Look.
Tell me. Let's get it. Bring it in here, Greg.
He has his reasons, and we'll go through those. But
please, yeah, and get to it quickly because I'm really tired of this. This is laborious and stupid.
Let me tell you what's really going on here.
What's really going on, man?
He doesn't want to be a staffer.
No, this is all about ego. We need an egomaniac quitter to be director of the National Counterterrorism Center. This is America.
Doesn't want to be anonymous.
No, he wants to be known. It's all about fame. He's just a glory hound, and we need him to be the director of the National Counterterrorism Center.
This is a person who sees himself as a star.
Oh my God. Or perhaps an extra in a lumberjack commercial.
He's run for Congress.
Oh, that's what it's about. It's all about. He thinks he's running for president. He wants to be Vance's Department of the Interior Secretary.
Twice. He's also lost.
Well, Trump likes to hire losers.
Twice.
So maybe this is Trump's fault?
Anybody who makes an ad like this, I'm sorry, is just not a normal, well-adjusted person.
Sorry, real quick. Hold on. For fuck's sake. if he's not a normal, well-adjusted person, why are you upset that he's leaving? What? Could anyone? I'm getting a brain cramp. Can anyone explain this to me at all? Jesus Christ.
In my view.
And that's the only view that matters.
I'm Joe Kent.
And I'm lost.
Service has always been a big part of my life. As a Boy Scout and an Eagle Scout, I worked on search and rescue missions right here in the Cascades.
Yeah, mainly I was the one that was lost, but that's not important right now.
As soon as I turned 18, I enlisted, becoming an Army Ranger stationed up at Fort Lewis and then a Green Beret. After 20 years and 11 combat deployments,
they let me live in a city.
I moved back home here to Yakult to raise my boys. Easy, fellas. And now I'm running for Congress so I can fight for all our families. I'm Joe Kent. I approve this message.
I gotta say, as ads go, I think that works. Like, I don't know what the hang-up is. Is decent editing? I mean, I don't like the guy, but it's well put together. I can't wait to get to Washington and leave you hanging. If you thought I'd be a fuck-up as the director of Counterterrorism Center, wait till you see me in Congress. Right.
I'd be honored to serve you.
Who are those people?
His extended family, I think? Why do you... extras. He hired them. Is it because this lady is brown? Is that why you're like, you don't know those people? Look at the brown lady. Who are they? It's his family, dummy.
We don't fall for this stuff anymore.
We don't? You think the war's going to be over on the 28th?
Ooh, wow. Did you see those rambunctious kids on the porch? No.
No. Look, those are rented children.
That is phony baloney stuff.
Sorry, so he doesn't have children? Those aren't his boys? He has CGI children? Is this AI?
And anybody who makes an ad like that, in my opinion, is ambitious, has in a bad way. It's okay.
Anyone who makes an ad has an ambition to have the desired outcome of the ad met. Is Coca-Cola really about ego at this point? I thought it was about polar bears.
Be ambitious, but that's a lust for power.
Why? How many? There's 100,000 reasons why Joe Kent's an asshole, but you have to run an ad to run for office.
Look at me. He lost.
Oh, God. Oh, that's good. Leave it up to Greg Kelly to actually do a segment about Joe Kent that has no substance whatsoever. That's difficult to do. There's a lot of automatic substance in how awful Joe Kent is, as we will see. I gotta... Greg Kelly, the most miserable man on the internet, ladies and gentlemen. Jealous of a two-time loser. And that's how he shall be known from this day forward. Hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks, Megaworldwide. Now, if I may, and I must, this Joe Kent thing, for those of you who don't know, he was he's one of these guys who can't actually get a real job in the administration because nobody would allow for it, because he's got kind of a Markwayne Mullin style background, and he's just a toxic shithead in a lot of ways, and the right, liked him for that. They liked it for, he was one of these kind of like not politically correct dudes, full of all sorts of the racisms. They were big fans. And now that he's leaving, and he obviously has called out the Trump administration that he can't support the Iran war, he thinks it's a mistake, the usual suspects have gotten their marching orders from D.C. Where's the evidence? Top Trump officials' controversial resignation letter sparks political firestorm. Also, I've noticed they're using my last name in all of these. Greg Kelly did it in his lower third. I do not approve, and there will be a lawsuit coming. I'm going to sue. But let's. Then there was Lana Douche, who the White House shadow war over Israel has been exposed, which is, I think, that Tucker and other people were trying to. He was getting wrong. He's faded. So is he the shadow warrior or they? I'm not quite sure which side she's on. But there's a bunch of these guys. Yeah, we'll get to that one in a second. So I think we'll look at a little bit of Lana Douche before we look at Glenn Beck. Hit the like, share the show. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide.
Did you guys all see this?
Yes, we all saw it. And if you don't mind, please close your hospital gown next time.
The letter, this is how we started our day.
Thanks. Thanks. As if maggotdom wasn't having enough earthquakes. We need this shit, okay?
Where's this letter? Started our
Started today. I open up my inbox. There it is.
day like this. So we had, he said that he was stepping down.
Or aside. Or out. With my baby.
He was leaving his post.
Well, you can't take your post with you.
Joe Kent, who works in Intel,
Used to work in Intel.
as director of the National Counterterrorism Center,
Yes, former director of the National Counterterrorism Center. He left immediately.
effective today, he
Right, so that would be the former part.
said. And he wrote this letter and he was saying that he's been blaming Israel. Basically, he's dry humping the Israel excuse.
I didn't realize that was available in my like pull down menu of excuses that I can go to now. Can I go to the dry humping Israel excuse? I don't know when it would come in handy, but I'd have to think it would at some point.
There's the letter.
Imagine if you actually blew it up to, the screen and kind of scrolled up on it so that you could see it.
And basically, all you need to know is
Yeah, basically.
Israel, and never in
That's all right. Israel. That's all we need.
wars. Israel, and it's some Israel. I'm not going to read it because
Yeah, who does that? Reading.
for the same reason
You can't.
that I'm not going to entertain this as anything more than performative exit from a leaker. That's the same. I mean, that's kind of exactly why I don't like to go and debate the hobo sitting in his own filth next to a dumpster behind the QT for the same reason.
Sorry. Did that guy used to be the former director of counterterrorism as well?
So this.
Sorry. What kind of intel clearance does this hobo have? Inquiring minds want to know, because if he knows that much, maybe the QT is just cover, and maybe he's sitting in his own filth because it's actually faux filth. And if you look underneath it, there's a door that goes like 5 miles into the Earth's crust to the NORAD bunker or something like this. And the guy's actually just an amazing agent who's been playing hobo all these years.
I'm just going to tell you this.
Please do.
This guy is apparently Well, now we know where the leaks are coming from. I was
So they're true.
wondering who was leaking stuff to Axios.
Yeah, me too. Especially because, again, you can't leak a lie.
And I was wondering maybe where Tucker Carlson got some of his stuff, because it
Russia.
seems like, is this the guy who was trying to leak stuff to Tucker?
But let's just say yeah, for the sake of making you guys eat more shit, sure.
Fair question.
Yeah, I agree.
I want you guys to understand there's a shadow war happening in the administration right now.
Oh, okay, good. So there's a war in the Middle East and a war in Venezuela, and we're probably going to have a war with Cuba. And in the administration, there's another war. Well, gosh, I guess everything is projection with this crowd. So,
Absolute shadow war that's taking place in the administration right now.
Yep, I'm getting a text from one of the Shadow Warriors right this moment.
You basically have the Tulsi Tucker camp versus
the Tulsi Tucker camp.
This Trump and
because they're TNT, the dynamite. Okay, that's
everybody else. Okay. That's happening right now.
Okay, totally great. In on it. Fantastic. What's happening?
And they're trying to overrule Trump and undermine him every way that they can. I don't trust Tulsi Gabbard at DNI. I don't. I have never trusted Tulsi Gabbard. I have not trusted Tulsi Gabbard since she came out hardcore against the Second Amendment and then decided to switch and act like she was very much in favor of the Second Amendment without...
Yeah, it's like Trump.
explaining why.
Actually, that's not fair. Trump was the exact opposite. He acted like he was for it, and then he got into office and was like, why don't we take the guns, do due process later, which I'm sure you loved.
She made her switch. And I was told by all of these people, well, just trust us.
Trust the plan.
She's good people. I don't trust you. I don't know who the F you are.
Imagine how I feel. I really, it's not even that I don't know who you are. It's I don't care.
What makes you think I'm going to trust you? I had
I don't know, my car keys, my handsome face, my charm, the fact that I smell like a lovely choice in soap.
friends of mine who worked in government who were saying, no, it's okay. I felt like I was getting used or manipulated because people were telling me to not ask questions about her. People that were involved are on the periphery of this administration, and even some other people who did some military consulting were telling me to not ask questions about Tulsi Gabbard.
Wow, now I understand why you voted for Trump and you support all his people. I mean, who hasn't been in that situation before? That's fantastic. I mean, you must be happier about your vote every day.
Moment, I don't care who you are. I don't care how long I've known you. You really need to understand when
I'm trying.
say that I like dogs better than people, I don't trust anybody. Nobody. Maybe
it's not that I'm just trying to make you like me better.
maybe my own family, my own immediate family.
Yeah, I don't trust my cousins either. You know what I mean?
That's about it. But everybody else, that's why you got to keep folders on everybody. You got to.
What? Lana Douche keeps a dossier on our extended family members.
Keep files on everybody because you can't trust a single person.
That's a wonderful message of hope.
And the more you get into it, you still can't trust them. I'm telling you right now that they're trying to gut him, rhetorically speaking.
Well, yeah, I don't think they have the forearm strength to gut him. Have you seen his gut?
They are trying to undermine him and tank the remainder of his term. And
yeah, he's doing fine on his own, though.
they're going to screw up midterms for everyone so that
they
can come in 28, and they feel like that's going to be the time that they can actually come in and get some people that are more like-minded on their side in place. That's what's
to do what
happening right now. So you have the Tucker Tulsi faction.
TNT with dynamite.
And then you have, the people who are like POTUS and others. And
the good people, the heroes, the victims.
The Fettermans and things like that. That's what's happening. And this guy.
Sorry, POTUS and Fetterman together. Wow.
Is part of that first camp that I had mentioned.
Uh-huh.
And it's so weird to see this happening.
Sorry, which was the first camp? I lost track. Is the first camp the TNT camp? Who's dynamite? Or, shouldn't POTUS be first always? I'm just going to assume you meant them.
Trump had problems with leaks in his first term.
Yeah, but then he got a better diaper, and Walt Naughta's always there with a broom anyway.
He's having problems with leaks this term.
Yeah, but it's from his anus, so it's even worse. But again, if I liked Walt Naughta at all, I would pity him.
Because he's got people trying to undermine him because they think that Iran should be left alone.
Imagine.
Let me explain something very simply. No,
please, in deference to me, because I don't know what the fuck you're getting at.
Nobody likes going to war. I don't like war, and I've been incredibly consistent in this.
Right, but you're not going to war. Hegseth's not going to war, but he loves it.
Has POTUS. I mean, for crying out loud, anyone who thinks that POTUS didn't dislike Iran has never paid any attention to this man. They are Johnny-come-latelys. They are a day late and $1 short.
Sorry, so he dislikes Iran, so that's why he has to go to war. He doesn't like it, but he dislikes them.
They need to shut the ever-loving hell up and sit down and allow the people who have been paying attention to this, who have watched this for more than just a half second on TikTok, actually provide the analysis, because you're just putting turds in the punch bowl of national discourse.
Yeah, which is, I think Glenn Beck's job, actually, which I'll bring. He's got a fresh one for you. This is, where's the evidence in Joe Kent's letter, I'm guessing. So stop. Okay, I'm trying. Here we go.
There's something that's just happened that
oh dear
is remarkably historic.
Generic word to cover the fact that I think this is a real shit show. The shit has hit the fan in a historic way.
I want to read it to you. President Trump, this comes from the Director of National Intelligence and National Counterterrorism Center, Joseph.
Are the ums in this letter also former?
Kent. President Trump, after much reflection, I've decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center effective today.
Oh, my God.
I cannot, in good conscience, support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel
Whatever.
and its powerful American lobby.
Damn. He went full Fuentes.
I know. This is so damaging.
I agree. The fact that Trump hired this guy in the first place, or the way that he's leaving. I'm going to go with both.
This is Pentagon Papers stuff.
Well, the Pentagon Papers had like some elements of like strategy and the conversations back and forth and like debate that was behind the scenes. This is just one guy's resignation letter, but sure. It's just, you know what it is? It's like the Cliff Notes of the Pentagon Papers. For maggots, this is like 5,000 pages of documents.
This is as important as the Pentagon Papers.
Is it, though?
This is going to possibly change the course.
This will change the law
of America.
Wow. Okay. Sorry. Joe Kent leaving his job because of what he believes is going to change the course of America, or the fact that Donald Trump was dumb enough to hire this asshole and didn't expect this would happen?
I support the values of foreign policies that you campaigned on in 16, 2020, 2024, which you enacted in your first term.
Yeah, except he didn't, and he never intended to.
Until June of 2025, you understood that wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the precious lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. In your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting us drawn into a never-ending war.
Actually, he didn't. He ran on getting us out of Afghanistan and never did, punted it to the next term, and it's clear now that he never intended to leave. He also thought we should seize the oil in the countries that we invaded, like Iraq, and it didn't give a damn about bombing Yemen or Syria or Lebanon or any of these other places, as long as he could do it, and look macho at the same time.
You demonstrated this by killing Soleimani and defeating ISIS.
By the way, he didn't defeat ISIS. ISIS still exists. They eliminated the caliphate in northern Iraq, which was a plan that had been going on for a while. The only difference he made was they were in the tail end of it, and they sped it along because he didn't give a shit how many civilians were killed.
In this administration, high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your American First platform and...
How? First of all, American first? That's the Fuentes drop. It would be America first. I don't know if he's misreading it, though.
Sowed pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran. This echo chamber.
And what choice did Trump have but to just soak it up and barf it out? Like he didn't actually have he doesn't have a thinking brain in his skull. He can't make his own decisions. If Lindsey Graham gets anywhere near him, we're going to fucking nuke Pakistan next.
Was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States.
Excuse me, do you think Trump doesn't know more than the intelligence community and the generals, and also the clerk at Safeway who had Greg Kelly fired?
This is incredible.
It's quite credible, actually. It's like you could see it brewing for a long time.
You can say a lot of things, but to say that Donald Trump is a dupe...
A little on the nose. Yeah. I mean, like, why would you go so obvious?
And has been duped by a foreign power because he...
Right, but what other excuse do you have except this is awesome, I guess?
Wasn't smart enough to figure it out.
Right, yeah.
Is absolutely insane.
So Trump put an insane person in charge of national security, counterterrorism. Doesn't that make Trump either insane or a dupe?
Insane.
I'll go with dupe. Insane gives him too much credit. That lays at least the idea that he had a functional brain at one point and it stopped functioning. I don't know that that was ever true.
Deceive you, blah, 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 that you
Blah, 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 Israel something.
should strike now when there was and that there was a clear path to a swift victory. This was a lie, and it is the same tactic the Israelis used to draw us into a disaster Iraq war that cost our nation the lives of thousands of our best men and women. We cannot make this mistake again.
Yeah, by the way, that's a big floater in the Republican circles right now, is that the Jews got us into Iraq and not George Bush and Dick Cheney and their like Hall of Flunkies and PNAC, the Project for a New American Century.
This is going to set the world on fire.
The war might, but I don't know that this will.
As a veteran who deployed to...
It's just upsetting all you guys. We're fine.
Combat...
I'm glad that psycho is out of there. I just don't know that they're going to fill the spot with anybody who's more competent than him, because Trump just is hiring sycophants. He's just crowding himself around with sycophants right now, like he's Skeksis dying in his emperor's bed.
11 times, and as a Gold Star husband who lost my beloved wife Shannon in a war manufactured by Israel, I cannot support sending...
Yeah, he's speaking as half of MAGA right now, and he's in a high position. And Glenn's, again, Glenn is turd polishing today.
The next generation off...
Yes, and John Bolton. Good point, Obie Golding. Yes, I shouldn't leave him out. John Bolton was a big fan of Iraq.
Fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cost of American lives. I pray you will reflect upon what you are doing in Iran and who we are doing it for. The time for bold action is now. You can't reverse course and chart a new path for our...
Yeah, you can't reverse course. People will, what will the people think? Maggots will think you're, sorry.
You can allow you can allow us to...
Oh, fuck, man. Have somebody else read it.
Further toward decline and chaos. You hold the cards. It was an honor to serve in your administration and to serve our great nation. Joseph Kent.
If that is his real name.
This is a senior official in...
Former. He quit already. It's in the letter. It's in the first paragraph.
Intelligence. Saying in real...
Yeah, which is, also an ironic title, that he's in intelligence.
Time. That the United States has entered a war under false pretenses, that Israel got us into the first war in Iraq.
Right, which is crazy. Sure, go for it. Yeah. And Trump hired this guy.
And now they duped the...
You think he just came up with that in the last couple of weeks?
American president into fighting this war. This is going to fracture public trust. This...
Why would this wreck my trust? I don't trust either of these assholes.
This is the worst letter that could be done that I have ever seen.
Wow, that's obviously you've never read early Penthouse.
If you want to hold, if you're trying to win an election.
Oh, see, I don't know. Is Joe running?
This is the worst thing.
Ugh. Ick.
Our allies now are going to be questioning our judgment.
Yeah, they already are.
Our enemies are going to exploit this like crazy.
Like insane crazy. Like nuts. Insane crazy.
The war effort now,
The war effort. Excuse me. Excursion effort? Where the fuck they find this guy?
Don't think you have given aid and comfort to Iran.
Well, I mean, he quit it unconscious. He didn't just prop up the Ayatollah's feet with a couple of pillows.
Just have.
Oh, but too late.
You've told them exactly what I'm telling you right now. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. I don't know how you survive things like this because this guy has just taken gasoline and thrown tanks of it into a bonfire.
Throwing tanks of gasoline into a bonfire. Well, at least it's an actual bonfire that's already burning, right then? So you're saying there was already a bonfire there. So where there's smoke, there's fire. And so those who were saying that we shouldn't have gone into Iran and that we did it at Israel's bidding Glenn Beck is saying that there is already fire there. That we moved beyond smoke, and that he's just adding more fuel to that fire. Okay.
It's already burning, and that fire that is burning.
Yes, tell us the story of the fire. And will the s'mores of freedom be laying across the fire, or are we just going to make bald eagle hot dogs?
Is not the Islamic fires.
Oh, okay. So I get my fires mixed up all the time.
But the Jews are bad fires.
Oh yeah, that's a rough fire. The Jews are bad fire. Yeah. What does it say on the matchbook that you make? Never mind. I don't want to know.
This is probably the most serious internal breaks over a war decision in modern history.
Wow. Just imagine if this had been a smart war and he didn't come out and quit and say stuff that the half of the president's party believes and the rest of the country is just against the war for different reasons.
Never seen anything like this.
Well, I mean, you've never seen a pile of assholes that like the ones Trump has hired and put in serious positions before. So,
and there's going to have to be investigations on it, and I hope
why
we get to the truth on this.
What do you mean you hope we get to the truth? That do you think he quit for another reason?
But now we've just added that one.
Great. Now we've done it. Right when the war was going awesome and everybody was getting on board and we were all lining up. And then in the middle of all this, Joe can't. Why you say it ain't so, Joe?
The fire. That was already burning out of control.
It was already burning out of control.
Jason, your analysis on this?
Jason just came back from having his urinalysis.
I
hope everything came out okay in the end.
I think that we need an immediate statement from DNI Tulsi Gabbard immediately to...
Yeah, at least a goodbye.
Go into the details that they probably did not even want to go into at the...
Probably not. They just, just because they were under oath and they probably didn't want to say it in a hearing, where they'd be embarrassed, best behind closed doors, classified briefing.
Moment, but they going to have to now.
They going to have to.
This is incredibly irresponsible, and it needs to be cleared up 5 minutes ago.
So we need a time machine? I don't know where we're going to get one of those. It's like 5 o'clock. I got to finish the show and be on Cliff Schecter's show in about... he's doing a 12-hour broadcast. I'm going to be on at 7:30 my time. I still got to cook dinner and freshen up.
They need to go into rapid damage control mode.
That's right. Do you have any idea how much damage has happened swiftly?
And explain exactly point by point and counter everything Joe Kent just said. Now,
or not, if they can't, they just got to admit to it, Open their heart, tell the story.
I don't have a problem with... So Joe Kent he's always seemed to me to be kind of like a very libertarian voice within the administration. And his...
So he has no political affiliation and he shouldn't actually be in government because... Okay, sorry.
He's dying in Syria. I'm sure that pushed him further towards the no war camp.
Sure it does.
Yeah, he probably started caring or something, which will really make it difficult for you to continue to be a maggot.
And I can get that. I like having, an anti-Bolton style group of people within there. We need those.
Yeah, but then what happens when they quit? The reason you have them in there is because they resign in, their post if they think they can't in good conscience carry out the orders. That's why you want those people in there, because that's the line, and then you don't expect them to actually do it.
Voices. But this is so irresponsible.
Oh my God. It makes me so mad. I'm not, I'm not angry. I'm hurt.
Might as well just say that, I read the protocols of the elders of Zion.
He doesn't have to say that, you know.
You know, the Jews control the world. He basically said that.
Yeah, he did. And again, you think he came to this conclusion before he got the job, or like after he got the job? You don't think this is who he is?
Said that. He basically said that Jews control the United States of America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a whole section of MAGA that thinks that.
Come on.
Dude. We can make stupid decisions without anybody telling us to. Have you seen Donald Trump speak? Of course he made these decisions. Benjamin Netanyahu didn't have to talk him into doing something dumb. It comes naturally to him.
This is so irresponsible. I don't think I've ever seen.
Well, he technically stepped away. He doesn't have any responsibility now. He literally, it's not irresponsible. He gave up the responsibility because, which is not irresponsible. It's actually the responsible thing to do, to say, I don't want to be responsible. That's very ironically a responsible thing.
Anything quite like this, and the only reason
I haven't.
Saying something like this, you might as well. It's got to be an intention grab. It's got to.
Yeah, nobody said. He's probably just saying the Jews are behind everything to be liked.
I don't know. He's throwing.
And again,
what the hell? He was a guest on this show.
Like the Pentagon Papers. Where's the evidence of this?
Yeah, another pile of crap.
Yep, none.
Where there's no evidence of this.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He can't prove that.
So he has just taken, and this was my problem, and I said this yesterday. I've said this every day since the war started.
Every day. It's true. You've said it every day. What have you said?
I don't need more opinions. I need more facts.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to have those, and you don't accept the facts that don't come directly from the administration. And by and large, those are actually opinions.
I'm tired of opinions.
Well, guess what? I think you're an asshole. So, tough shit, I guess?
I want facts.
Which set of facts are you interested in? I know, because it doesn't sound like you actually do. It sounds like you want numbers that support your bias, I guess.
If this is true, back it up.
Yeah, I want to hear a tape conversation of Netanyahu going, Klaatu Verata Nikto, and Trump going, I'm the Manchurian candidate, except Manchuria is China, but I would know that. Who would know that? Who knows it? Nobody knows it.
With facts. Show me.
Yes. Fax him a picture of your butt.
How this happened. He's made charges here that they deceived the president.
Yeah.
In believing that Iran. I'm sorry. Have you ever talked to the president of the United States?
No, I have not.
Do you have any understanding of who this guy is?
Yes, he's a sexist, egotistical, lying, hypocritical bigot.
I can't imagine anyone being able to deceive him.
Oh, that I know. Okay, sorry. I understand. That's because you've been deceived by the same people. See, if both of you are eating the same shit sandwich, it goes to prove that you both are willing to eat the shit sandwich either by choice or taste. So, the reason you don't think it's possible to deceive him is because you yourself have been deceived similarly, and you would lack the capacity to understand that he has been deceived if indeed he has. Now, I also think that both of you are, choosing what to say you believe to be the most, financially beneficial to you. So I don't know full well what you believe and what you don't believe. But this is, I think, the easiest, the Occam's rubber mallet in this situation would be that you believe everything Trump pretends to believe, and so therefore you think he actually believes it.
Into, hey, go fight Israel's war. You might deceive him on, hey, there's some, but I'd like to see the evidence. You might be able to, with evidence, say, Mr. President, see the pictures that they showed you here? See the stats that they showed you here? Here are the stats that say that's not true.
Yeah, like his staff does with polling to make him think that he's got great poll numbers.
I could see somebody coming, a group of people coming into the Oval and briefing the president and saying, Mr. President, here is the information. But I also believe somebody like Joe Kent, and this is why he was important, a libertarian point of view, is important to go into the Oval Office, because that's when you go into the Oval Office and say, Mr. President, these things are not true.
Mr. President, these are what we call Jew facts. What do you expect him to say?
Then the president would have said, I'm just guessing here, but I know Donald Trump well enough to know he's not a dupe.
Methinks Milady doth protest too much. He is a dupe. He buys a lot of stuff that's stupid, and that other people have convinced him of doing. He has a penchant, especially at rallies, to say the last thing he was told as if it's something he's known forever, but it's new to them. I look at what he said about Abraham Lincoln.
That's when somebody like Joe Kent would have come in and said, Mr. President, these things are wrong. And the president would have said, Joe, can you show me the evidence that this is wrong?
He's like, what do you think I work at the counterterrorism department. I don't have access to actual facts and figures. I feel it in my MAGA heart. And Trump would have gone, yeah.
Can you prove that? Because I have this evidence over here.
Yeah, that's what Trump does all day. Sits at his desk comparing evidence.
And I don't want to go to war. I don't want to do that. He would.
But I will.
Said that. I don't want to do this, but I have this. Can you prove that to be wrong? No. Well, then, Joe.
Well, can you prove that they have nukes or that they were 2 weeks away? I mean, he said they were 2 weeks away from having a bomb, in his opinion.
What do I do?
This is his Trump impersonation, by the way.
Do I take Joe's word for it?
Yeah, who's an asshole who I put in charge of counterterrorism? Because what the fuck does that mean?
Or
is that something Trump probably, like, he thinks people seeking asylum are from asylums? He probably thinks counterterrorism is stuff that only happens at diners.
Do I take the evidence that has been presented by my own intel?
He works under the DNI. He's literally the second under the DNI. That's where you put him. Like, he reports directly to the Director of National Intelligence, and she agrees with him.
That's exactly what the president would have done.
Yeah, totally. If you filmed it, I'm sure that's exactly the way it went down.
Ricky, I want to bring you in on this.
Yeah,
Don't lose that number, by the way. Also, who is Ricky, and is she in heaven talking to us?
thing to point out is that I'm pretty sure Vice President J.D. Vance is aligned in his foreign policy worldview with Joe Kent. But what you don't hear from J.D. Vance is it was an honor to serve the president, but also he's lying to you. We are all lying to you.
Well, yeah, because he's the vice president and he's planning on running, and he doesn't have any scruples at all. I mean, you put a cult member in the spot, and then you're shocked that he's acting on his QAnon-esque beliefs. And largely because he's found some comfort, to borrow your word, from the majority of the populace who's against the war.
So there's that. And then the other thing I'd like to know is who
can you kick my ass?
Who is pulling Trump by the nose?
And isn't that a disgusting mental image?
Is it Israel or is it the Arab leaders?
I lean towards the Arab leaders myself.
Just in the last 24 hours, we have headlines stating that several Gulf states are urging Trump to keep going on Iran and to fully dismantle them.
No.
So is Trump
Iran,
run by the nose?
No, that's not possible, because Israel is doing this so they can destroy their Arab neighbors and keep them, keep them under their toe.
Oh, that's the Tucker Carlson angle. He's saying that's why. She's not citing what Joe Kent's argument is. She's citing, and he's ironically pushing back with what would be Joe Kent's talking point, I guess.
So that's not true. There's none of those things actually happened. Do you have any evidence that those things happened?
MBS was the last call that Trump took from a world leader before he launched the Iran war. even after Netanyahu had been on him for the better part of the year to go ahead and do it. Even before the bombing last year, he wanted the bombing last year to go into the rest of this, and he wanted to get the okay from MBS.
Don't get me started. I didn't want to bring
At least we can laugh.
story to you.
You do know. You do have the evidence. You have the written word from those allies that are all Arabs.
Right. So the ones that he has business dealings with: crypto, World Liberty Financial, his golf courses, the Live Golf Tournament thing through the Saudis and through the UAE, his son-in-law and his daughter's businesses in Dubai.
Yes, I have that. Do you have the evidence to the other side that Israel is trying to do this war to destroy the Arab world? No, you have an opinion. Well, I've got an ass and an opinion. They're both worth exactly the same thing.
Really? You can... Oh, well, I guess that's true, because with your ass, you can rid yourself of waste, and, you could eliminate toxins and unused foodstuffs and other things from your body, and your opinions are basically shit, too, so... Yes, I agree. Your ass and your opinions are almost identical. And by the way, I've always said, opinions are like assholes. If you tell me you don't have one, I know you're full of shit.
They're not worth a damn thing.
Well, sew yours up and see how long you live.
Give me the facts.
Yeah, the fact is, a man with an ass without an asshole will explode in a matter of days.
That is the problem with this country.
It is the country. It's not Joe Kent and Trump's hiring practices. It's the country. It's our fucking fault. It's a chat room. It's your fault. American people, it's your fault. That's right. Yeah. Like and subscribe. Make a comment below and apologize. Apologize for making Glenn Beck upset by forcing Trump to hire Joe Kent to just show you guys, because you Russia people are what backed Trump against the wall and made him have to do this.
You have too many people like me.
I would agree. I think one's too many.
Who are paid to give you an opinion and perspective on what the hell all of this means.
And I don't know what's going on. How am I supposed to form an opinion when I don't have any of the things that opinions are based on, and the people that I would take opinions from now have different opinions, and those opinions are not easily monetized?
Unfortunately, there
Why is he lecturing us?
There are so many of us.
That's right. There are too many. I mean, you should, I think, take a page out of Joe Kent's book and quit the blaze or shut it down.
That some people have to get a leg up on somebody else. I
guess so, yeah. And so I guess Joe Kent's going to go start another anti-Jew podcast, because that's a growth industry amongst the right now.
To get more clicks. I've got to get more advertisers. I got to get more followers. I got to get whatever it is.
Right. So I'm sorry. The director of the Counterterrorism Center wrote this letter and quit his job for clicks and subs. By the way, like and subscribe, share the show. Venmo is a great way to support the show. Patreon.com/HalSparks. All right.
And so they no longer attach themselves to facts.
Like a bunch of yeah.
I have some things.
I know.
I think I know about this situation.
Right. I mean, that's basically the I guess the mission statement of your show. I have some things I think I know about this. This ain't one of them.
I think is really important.
Right, and there's some disagreement about that.
But I'm not going to share them because I don't have any facts to back them up.
You do realize you wrote a book called The Great Reset that said we were basically going to have Nasara Jasara, or the erasure of our banking system, 2 years ago.
I don't have any evidence to
Right. We understand that. This is the Glenn Beck show.
back it up. I have gut feelings. So,
right. Ass feelings.
Glenn, why don't you say it? Because they're gut feelings.
He says his gut feelings all the time.
They're not facts.
We know this.
And when you're talking about the destruction of people,
you mean like immigrant families and LGBT folks and women and minorities and poor people?
when you're talking about war and
Oh, I see. Just I was sorry. I was thinking about the destruction of other people. Just the blowing up of people. The people who would be blown up.
killing people,
Mhm.
when you're talking about possibility of World War III, when you're talking about dividing this nation into two groups.
4.
I hate them Jews.
Okay. All right. Is that these are equal part groups? Is it? Group 1 is all right. Everybody on team I hate them Jews. I'm just gonna say that from the way you say it, it sounds like you think Joe Kent has bad grammar. But okay.
And I just want to know what the truth is. I don't want to get involved in anybody else's.
Sorry, those are the two groups. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I just want to know what we should just let versus I hate them Jews. Everything else is just a wash.
When you're dividing us.
Yeah, Joe Kent, for clicks.
This hard.
How hard are we talking?
On something this dark. Produce the damn evidence, Joe.
Yeah, he can't because he was counterterrorism director and he can't actually release those things. So if you're saying it's like the Pentagon Papers, he just quit and tried to dip his hat, say why he quit because he felt like he had to, but he can't exactly release the evidence because that would be traitorous. I mean, he could go to jail for it, I guess. So you're saying, put up or shut up, I suppose, around that. I mean, the irony is that he'd commit a big crime and then Trump would, if he said nice things about him in 2 years, he'd pardon him anyways.
Produce the evidence.
Yeah. So that I can say something.
If you're right, I'll stand with you. But produce the damn evidence.
That's right, Joe Kent. Leak like the wind.
All you did was, while other people were just pouring gasoline over our entire nation.
I think that's what Trump wants to do, isn't it? Isn't that part of drill baby drill? And
all of our
isn't Trump's policy is dig we must and gas baby gas? I think so.
Institutions. You just sat in the corner just like, I'm just going to flick matches. I'm going to flick matches.
You absolutely, well.
Let me tell you what I know, but I'm not going to tell you how I know it. I can't prove anything.
Oh, sorry. Glenn's afraid he's right. And he's worried now that he's fighting on the wrong side of this issue. And if Joe Kent turns out to be right, that somehow they influence Trump or that becomes the narrative amongst MAGA, Glenn's going to be left holding the bag because his gut feelings that he passed off as facts are going to turn out to be wrong.
It's just my gut feeling.
It's your gut feeling that he's throwing matches, or that's an analogy?
Produce the evidence, Joe.
Yeah, Joe. Produce the evidence that'll get you thrown in jail, and which apparently you wrote a letter about something. And by the way, the irony is that the story that they're using about Joe Kent after he left is that he's the leaker that was giving to Axios. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with Tim Pool's face here, except that it's Tim Pool's face. But breaking report, Joe Kent was leaker who had been cut from president's intel briefings for months from the Western Journal. And so that's why they got rid of him, because he was the leaker. That's where Lana Douche was also going in terms of this as well. Now, do I have time for one more thing? I'm behind. Okay, I'm going to leave on this, and I apologize up front for you having to see this person's face. And it's not Trump, actually. It's just rough. Eric Bolling, who's been on, I guess, Newsmax for years or whatever, or left Newsmax or something, has a penchant for injecting marzipan into his face instead of regular filler, and it's very peculiar. But I think we're all going to find out exactly where Eric Bolling has most of his investments through this next clip, and why people like him are flipping out about the price of oil and all this other stuff. And let me show you something real quick. You can tell there's a panic going on when the thumbnail phrase, instead of like Trump winning or, lib tears flow, you'll see these like short kind of to the point things. Maybe they'll get to be a sentence, but they kind of try to keep it tight under there. I'd like you to look, if you will, at the name of this video. This is the video title. Bolling. When there's a massive oil supply disruption like what's going on right now, the whole world feels that if refiners can't get heavier Middle Eastern crude, they have to buy premium blends instead, which pushes up prices here at home. I don't even know why I have to watch the fucking video now. So let's see. This is, of course, him being interviewed by Epstein's biographer.
Trump is renewing calls for the U.S. to acquire Greenland. The president says his team is considering a range of...
Okay. In the intelligence, they're focused not on the Chinese Communist Party infiltration into this. They're focused on
they're missing it entirely.
The war room posse and the great patriots in Georgia getting to the bottom of the 2020 election.
Right. This FBI, Trump's FBI, are weaponizing against real patriots.
The Steele and Tulsi Gabbard's involvement in that.
Which is, again, why was she there?
In fact,
actually, she was there because Trump didn't want her to be around for the other stuff that was going on, so he sent her out of town. He literally sent her to Georgia because he didn't want her in town leading up to the Iran war.
I go to Neil McCabe.
DNI stands for Do Not Invite.
In a moment on Capitol Hill covering the hearing, you're going to hear some explosive. They're now coming for Kurt Olson, and they're coming for the Patriots in Georgia. You watch.
Uh-oh.
We'll get to that in a second. Bolling. Here's what I don't understand.
English, math, economics, politics.
Simple man. So make this a simple explanation if you can. The Gulf, they provide the oil for Asia, for our enemies in the Chinese Communist Party. The greatest existential threat in the world to the United States of America is the Chinese Communist Party. And today, John Solomon's going to be here, and we're going to talk about a pandemic, and we're going to talk about stealing the 2020 election, and they're directly involved. And we have the intelligence service of the United States not only knew about it, but covered it up, the deep state. You even got Mark Warner up there talking about foreign interference. Of course, what they're doing now is trying to do the jujitsu move to show.
Well, I mean, jujitsu's Japanese, but
the Tulsi Gabbard's involved in Georgia with the great patriots down in Georgia, Caroline Jeffords and Garland Favorita and all of them fighting down there. And by the way, there's a Georgia election board going on right now that we normally would cover, but we can't because we're covering it. We just can't play it because there's too much going on.
Yeah. Who has time for that?
You see, they're attacking, and we have two.
By the way, who's they? This is Trump's administration, Trump's FBI, Trump's DOJ.
Two carrier battle groups. We're spending $2 billion a day. President Trump's making the argument. It's not that we're saying, hey, we're going against President Trump's making the argument now every day. Like I called for the allies to come down here because the Red Sea, the Suez Canal, the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf.
He almost said straits because that's what Trump's been saying. There's only one strait.
That's all to provide Asia and Europe their energy resources that they can actually have economies. The United States of America is and can be quite quickly energy independent. This is
no, we can't. Unless we go almost completely electric in our cars.
Like Guyana and Venezuela and hemispheric defense. These aren't random things Trump's doing.
They feel random.
So I don't understand.
Except they aren't, because it's not even his plan, it's PNAC.
Tell me why we give a damn, Eric. I understand it's fungible, it's all one world market, but that's you guys oil traders trying to trick us into.
You guys oil traders. So now we know where Eric Bolling got his money and his backing.
Believing you're doing God's work when really the oil traders are not hedging the future. It's just a bunch of speculative guys making a lot of money on the little guy, isn't it, sir?
No, not at all. No. I mean, there is some speculation, but there's speculation in everything, including the stock market. Any sort of market, there's going to be speculation. But the oil market is so vast; it's massive. 100 million barrels a day at $100. But think about the numbers that are flying around. Now, the speculation surely adds, but it also adds downward pressure when things start to turn the other way. The speculators will push that oil price down when they get the all clear signal. So,
yeah, but it'll take a long time to unwind it, and then we'll be back in the glut.
It cuts both ways. The reason why I'm saying when there's a supply disruption, massive supply disruption, like what's going on right now with the Strait of Hormuz, the Strait of Oman, or on the other side, the Red Sea.
The Chinese get their oil from someplace else, and if they're going to buy it, they're going to drive up the price of everything else because they're willing to pay for it.
Or threats that the Middle Eastern countries are shutting in production and or shutting in refining capacity, the whole world feels it because you can exchange an oil for an oil. Venezuela, Middle Eastern crude is a heavier, sour crude. West Texas Intermediate is known as a light, sweet crude. Mexico, light, sweet crude. Brent, North Sea Brent, light, sweet crude. Those are the premium blends. So you can change it.
Yeah, they've got a kind of a woody flavor with hints of oak and raspberry.
You can change your refinery, but at a cost differential. So if it all of a sudden becomes, I can't get the heavier Middle Eastern crude, I'm gonna have to go to the light sweet West Texas Intermediate or Brent. They have to go buy it. That's why it pushes the price of the oils that we are trading.
Yeah, it's amazingly stupid that he actually has to explain this to Steve Bannon, who was an advisor to Trump in the first term and was pardoned by Trump after ripping off maggots, which is the nicest thing Trump has ever done.
Using right here in the United States, which only makes it more important for us to be completely independent of Middle Eastern or China or anyone, any of them. So when we do that, we're not beholden to any Middle Eastern country at all. Again, we can...
Imagine if we stuck to solar and wind.
In the perfect metaphor, we can tell the Middle Easterners to go pound sand.
I don't know what that means.
Last thing before I let you go, for people thinking of the day, the shutting in of this Saudi Aramco massive refinery, clearly Brent went through the roof. West Texas looks close to $100 a barrel.
Right, because if you can't get that stuff, just like he was saying, you'll buy what's on the market and you'll pay whatever you can because it's how you run your entire economy.
Just once again, explain to the audience why.
Because they're this stupid. The War Room Posse is this dumb.
That is such an important.
Explain supply and demand to me.
An event in this war.
It is because it signals to the world, not just oil speculators. I told you I had a conversation with the head trader at Conoco. He's not a speculator. He's literally hedging the production of Conoco, who believes oil prices are going higher because the Saudis, the Omanis, the Kuwaitis shut in production. They're all doing this. Why? Because they have to? No, there's virtually no human beings at refineries or oil production facilities. It's not that they're protecting their people. There's no one working in these facilities. They're highly automated. They're doing it because it sends this.
That's why Trump wants them here.
Signal to the world, including traders at one of the biggest oil trading desks on the planet, Conoco, that they're going higher and they'll do things to get oil prices higher. Like it or not, that's why we're beholden to these SOBs in the Middle East when we don't need to be. $4.50 a gallon, I believe, is baked in already now. People are going to argue with that, but
$4.50. Ladies and gentlemen, just when you thought Donald Trump's economy couldn't get any better.
I'm going to be right on $4 probably next week. It's $4.50, and that is a massive drag on our economy. That's why this is so relevant. That's why every news story across every platform, whether it's business or not, is leading with the oil price and what's going on in the Middle East. Can you imagine a day, Steve, where we don't care what Saudi says or the Iranians say? Can you imagine how free that day will be for us? It's potential.
Well, you and me. Like I said, the Middle East is a sideshow, and the Israeli situation is a sideshow to a sideshow. We've got every tool in the toolbox to make that happen.
this is gibberish. He's just using terms.
Don't have to worry about it, and we should not have to worry about it. The United States, particularly when the Europeans that live upon this just gave us the middle finger, and they still want a security guarantee. They still want young American men and women, of which 6 are coming home today.
Can I just add one thing? Can I just add one thing to your right? You're
Yes,
right
sir.
about all of this. Higher prices, stick it to China. Absolutely. However, I would say yes. Let's just play this game. Let's play this out. Put China on their knees too, as well as Iran. Except we got midterms
100%.
coming up.
Yeah, that's right. We can't go after our real enemies right now. The midterms are coming. We'll screw the little guy, in December. Okay.
If midterms weren't happening, I'm on board with everything. Now I'm very, very concerned for majorities, not just majority in the House.
Yeah, because the Senate's in play.
Majorities.
Sometimes your fox molding, your fox formation comes through. Bowling. Anyway, I love your brother. I'm just kidding.
So stupid. And again, he just basically shut him down on that. But the fact that they have to have supply and demand explain to them that oil is not nationalized. It's odd that maggots think somehow that like oil that comes from America is like owned by the American people, which is exactly what we allegedly hate about what Venezuela did. They want, it's super odd that they want Trump to do with the oil in America what the Venezuelans did with the oil over there and just like take it from the oil companies and pretend it's ours. They produce it, they sell it on the open market because they have to. That's how it works. If you haven't nationalized it, that's how it works. And if somebody else is willing to pay more than you are, they've got to take it. They have a fiduciary duty to their investors, a lot of which are pension plans and stuff like that, but also, they're direct investors and people who have stock in the company on an individual level. They have a responsibility to do that. How... I almost understand if this was 1974 and people were just ignorant to how big a play oil was in the overall world economy. But how many times are we going to have to go through this shit till the Republicans realize we have to get off it? Democrats we're already there. Electric cars all the way, whatever we need oil for, we should be able to produce in terms of jet fuel here at home to the point where it's like a commodity, or a specialty fuel. But the idea that any cars run on it anymore because they don't have to is just stupid. And we would have already been there. We would have already made this. We would have already gotten there if Reagan hadn't taken the solar panels off of the White House. If we'd have just proceeded from where we were in the late 70s, all the advances that were made in electric cars and solar panels and wind and geothermal and all that stuff would have been sped up by at least a decade. So, anyways, much love, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. Tomorrow's show will not be at 4. It'll be at 3, the regular time, just so you know, because it shuffles around occasionally. So tomorrow afternoon I will see you, and I'm going to be on the show with Cliff Schechter, his 12-hour live stream he's doing. I'm bringing it home around 7:30 my time. So I'll be back on in a little bit. So I'm going to go feed the family, cook some food or whatever. And what about beautiful clean coal? I can't wait till it becomes beautiful rustic diamonds. Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. But until then, have a great night. I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum.
Whoa, I love that feeling. Super hoods have got the goods. Owie, owie, oh. Points and dongs and vests and thongs. Whoa, I love that feeling. Super hoods have got the goods. Owie, owie, oh. Boink, boink, doobie-doo. You know what I wanna do. Yay! Boink, boink, doobie-doo. You know what I wanna do. Box up. Let's party and dongs and vests and thongs. Woo, I love that feeling. Zipper hoods have got the goods. Owie, owie, oh. Boing, boing, doobie-doo. You know what I wanna do. Hey, boing, boing, doobie-doo. You know what I wanna do. What's up?
Yeah.